yeah. This is the outline with Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne. Kevin Dwayne with Kevin Dwayne.
The audacity of these niggas. Like, who raised y'all? No, really, this is a real question. Who in the fuck raised y'all? Who taught you to be so goddamn entitled? Who taught you not to have your own shit? Who taught you that you can take my shit? Who? Or better yet, who didn't teach you? Who was missing from your life? Who was an absentee guardian? Because I don't get the shit. I don't get the shit. I don't get the shit. So, there's been a theme, a pattern that's been happening in my life lately. And I believe in manifestation. And I also believe that until you learn the lesson, you're going to continually go through the same shit. But there's been something that's been hitting a little too often for me, and I'm not feeling it. And this is the nigga without proper transportation, without means of proper transportation. Now, before I tell this story, let me go ahead and say this. This is not shade to anyone who doesn't have a vehicle. Having a vehicle is actually not a fucking requirement at all to me. Will it make things difficult? Sure. Will it make things a little inconvenient at times? Sure. But it is not a requirement because, listen, we all fall on hard times. We all go through things. We all have different places in life that we are. And not all of us have vehicles, and sometimes we got to pay rent instead. I get it. I understand the motherfucking struggle. I get it. We've all been there. I get it. But at least, have a way of getting around that doesn't rely on other people. And that means public transportation. That means Uber. That means Lyft. That means a charter bus, church van. Like, I don't give a fuck. Trolley. I don't care. It's your responsibility. So with that said, here's the rest of this fucking story. So a couple weeks ago, I was on Grindr. Yeah, it was Grindr for sure. Nigga hits me up. He fine too. Because actually, every nigga in this story is going to be fine. Because they tend to be the ones with the fuck shit. Who taught y'all that if you fine, you can be on some fuck shit? And who allowed the shit? I have so many questions. Anyway, he hits me up. It was Grindr. He's like, oh, what's good with you? I'm just like, nothing, I'm chilling or whatever. He's like, oh, you seem mad close. And the shit did say like 3,700 feet. So I'm thinking this nigga's somewhere in my complex, and it's very likely he fine where he come from, whatever. And I'm like, yeah, I guess so, or whatever. He's like, oh, okay. Are you in, such and such, and he names the place that I'm in. I'm like, yeah, I am in here. He's like, oh, okay, cool. He's like, oh, you got a car? Now, this kind of sets me off because why are you asking me this? Now, if you guys heard a story I told last year sometime, there was somebody who wanted me to pick him up so he can go get weed. In fact, I believe he wanted me to go pick the weed up for him. It was something like that. But then he blocked me when I said no. So I now have PTSD because of that. Okay. So when someone asks me if I have a car, that automatically triggers me to think, Yo ass needs a ride somewhere, huh? So I tell this nigga, oh no, I don't have a car. I'm not mobile. I'm fucking lying. I have a motherfucking car that works very, very well, very reliable. I pay the note on that bitch every fucking 25th of the month. But that's neither here nor there. But I'm like, oh yeah, no, I don't have a car. This nigga blocks me. Okay, moving the fuck on. Fast forward to this most recent weekend. I'm at the gym on Friday. I am working out. I'm lifting. And this little young tenderoni hits me up on Grindr. Okay. He's like, he's trying to chat me up. He's like 22, 23, whatever. Cutie, real cute, real cute. He's chatting me up like, oh, you're so fine. Oh, I want to make you mine. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm just sitting here like, whatever. My testosterone's running. Like, let me get something lined up just in case he want to come through afterwards or whatever. So we're chatting. He's like, I really want to kick it with you. I'm like, oh, that's cool, whatever. He's like, oh, can you host? I'm like, oh, yeah, I can definitely host. That's fine, This nigga says, okay, cool. Well, send me a Uber and I'll be on my way. Excuse me? Send you a what? Why the fuck can't you get your own goddamn Uber? What? Huh? I was like, yeah, no, I won't be doing that. He's like, but I want to see you. I'm like, well, first of all, you don't know me. Second of all, your transportation to my place is on you. That's not on me. Not to mention, you slid in my motherfucking inbox. Not the other way around. Like, that's just not happening. And he just kept going, like, come on, just send me an Uber. I'm like, yeah, I'm not doing that. Because essentially, if we end up fucking, which is very likely, especially if I send you an Uber, we're definitely fucking. But if we end up fucking, that will be me paying for sex. And I'm just, no, like, no, you better start walking. Like, you got two good ass feet right there. I see them in the picture. Use them. It's not raining or nothing. You can make it here. And see, and here's the thing. I believe in having transportation both ways. Like, you need to be able to get to me and get back. But I'm also very considerate when I want to be. Let's say you do Uber to my place, and I have nothing against that. It's your responsibility. If you Uber to my place, there's a chance I might actually take you home. If it's a reasonable, distance from my place. I have no issue with that. But that's me being kind. That's me being considerate. You're not entitled to my money or my car. So if you want to come through, you need to figure that shit out. Anyway, all I gotta say is we stopped talking too. So this was Friday, my nigga. Okay? Friday. Fast forward to Sunday. I hear from an old friend. He hits me up like, oh, I haven't seen you in forever. I haven't seen him. I won't say an old friend, an old fuck buddy. Like, it was some good sex too. Like, it was some good sex. I actually almost caved. Just keeping it real with y'all. I almost caved. I'm like, well, that was some good ass sex though. But whatever. So he hits me up like, oh, I miss you. I want to see you. I need to get there, blah, blah. And I'm like, well, I still live in the same spot. So you're more than welcome to come through. He's like, okay, bet I'm gonna come through. I'm just like, all right, cool. So he ends up calling me and I'm like, what's good? He's like, yeah, I definitely want to come through. I'm just gonna Uber over there. And I'm like, okay, where are you? He's like, oh, I'm in Ellenwood. Okay. If you don't live in Atlanta, I gotta let you know what this means. I live in Gwinnett County, which is about 20 miles outside of Atlanta. Okay. Ellenwood is about 20 miles outside of Atlanta going the opposite direction. So you're pushing about a 45-minute to an hour ride. I'm being very graceful with this. You're pushing about an hour ride from Ellenwood to me. So I'm like, damn, he must really want to fuck. Or he must really miss me if he's going to take an Uber all the way to me. Now, I knew it was a push, but I was kind of like, I don't really buy that you're going to do that. Like, I have had niggas take Uber from Midtown to me. And I was like, even impressed by that. But that's just a 20-minute, 25-minute ride. But an hour ride in Uber, I'm like, yeah, you're pushing like $30, $35, $40. Easy. And that's just one way. But I'm like, if you want to do it, I'm not going to stop you. But in this case, I wouldn't be taking you home because I don't really want to drive an hour to drop you off. You know, it's one of those things like, I don't know. So, you know, he hops on the phone and he's just like, so, yeah, I'm going to take an Uber, but you think you can go half on it with me? And I'm like, yeah, no, I don't think I can do that. Because it's not my problem. Once again, you popped up out of nowhere. You're also the same nigga that disappeared out of nowhere too. Let's go ahead and get that too. You popped up and said you just had to have me and had to come see me and just all the nasty shit you said. This was on you. Now, I will gladly accept it. I'm not going to turn it down because like I said, it was good as fuck. But I just don't feel like it's my responsibility to go half on your fare here because, well, you're not my nigga. And you went ghost. And you're a flake. And basically the only thing good about you is your dick. And I just don't feel like it's my responsibility to go half on that. So, as you can probably guess, he didn't come through. So this is number 2 of the weekend, okay? And it's the third person of this story. Fast forward to motherfucking Monday. Once again, went to the gym, came back home. I think I had just hopped in the shower, got out the shower, got a notification on Jacked. Fine nigga. Once again, these fine ass niggas. Like, he was real fine. I said body was lit, everything. I'm like, oh shit, what's good? Super close. He's like, hey, what's good with you? I'm like, oh, nothing, chilling. About to shower and get ready for work. He's like, oh, that's what's up. Cool. You know, I'm kind of horny or whatever. You know, I'm trying to link. I said, oh, okay, that's what's up. And then it just switches. He's like, but do you think you can come pick me up from the post office and then take me to a gas station so I can get gas and put it in my car? No, I cannot. Number 1, I just said, I'm about to start work. Number 2, I don't fucking know you. Now, granted, it's easy to say, but Kevin, you will fuck him though. You're absolutely right. I would absolutely fuck him as long as he had transportation to me or had a place to host for me to drive. But I shouldn't have to run errands with you to get the dick. You know, I just don't. It doesn't connect for me. And this sounds very much like you're about to throw me some dick in exchange for this errand you want me to run. You want me to come pick you up from a post office? And then take you to a gas station. And I'm sure once you get to that gas station, you're going to get this gas. And I pray to God you're not going to ask me for money to get the gas. But y'all niggas be trying it. So I don't know. Audacity is real these days. But I'm pretty sure you're then going to have me take you back to wherever the fuck your car is. Is it at the post office? Because that's only where I'm going to take you back to if I did it. So I was just like, you know what? Yeah, no, I have to start work soon. Sorry, I can't. I should have just said hell fucking no. Once again, he blocked me. So that's 4 niggas in this story. 3 from just the weekend alone. Where'd y'all come from? Like, I don't get it. Like, for example, the last one. So you own a car. You have enough money to get gas, but you don't have enough money to take an Uber or something to a nearby gas station. They can't be that far. I can't imagine if you're at the post office. In fact, I should have thought this through. There's 2 post offices by me, and gas stations aren't that far. So either you're lazy and don't want to walk, or you don't want to pay what, $2 to fucking take a Uber? I don't compute. I don't get it. And then it's just not my motherfucking responsibility. It's just not. It's just not my responsibility. Like, I can't do it. And I mentioned this to another friend of mine, and he said he gets the same thing. He lives in Midtown. He's like, oh no, this is actually a very real thing. He's like, I wish Uber had a deal inside of Jack's where they work together so you can send niggas Ubers, because everybody wants you to send for them like it's a motherfucking car service. Like, nah, no. I'm not doing it. Like, especially if you initiate it. Like, it'd be one thing if I was reaching out to these niggas and I was sweating them, and I was on some damn, I gotta get you, ooh, fuck. And they'd be like, well, shit, I'm not mobile. You think you send a car? Different story. But for you to hit me up while I'm minding my usual business, doing what I usually do, try to talk game to me, try to like make it seem like you really into me, only to ask for a fucking favor? Nah, I can't. Like, who raised y'all? Like, I would never. I'm not knocking on wood. I just would never. You can call it pride. You can call it ego. You can call it whatever the fuck you want to call it. But I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. I just wouldn't. Like, there's MARTA, there's the bus, there's Uber, there's Lyft, there's your motherfucking feet. And these niggas are like local niggas. That's the gag. Like, these niggas are like a mile or two away. Like, power walk, nigga. Like, the audacity of these niggas. Whatever. This is the Outline Podcast. Thank you so much for listening. I hope you are having an amazing week. Outside of that story, I am also having a great week. By the time you listen to this show, I will have started my work day. And when this day is over, I get to be off for the rest of the week and weekend. Christina, a fan favorite of the show, is in town, and I can't wait to see her. We're going to the lynching museum in Alabama. We wanted to check that out. I know it's going to be really, really sad, and we're going to be really, really triggered, but we both want to go and, just see a piece of history and just, take it all in and check it out and see it for ourselves. So we're going to do that. And then also we're going to hang out, of course, and go get vegan food and shit. And I'm just going to enjoy having my best friend here. So there's that. But then on Saturday, I'm going to see Beyonce and Jay-Z. They're together, apparently. Apparently, Jay-Z, raps or something. But I'm going to the Beyonce show, and I'm so excited about that. So it's just going to be a really, really fun weekend coming up, and I'm just really, really excited because I don't have to work. I mean, that's really all there is to it. I get to hang out and have a good time. So I'm super excited for this week, and I hope you have an amazing week coming up as well. I also hope that your previous weekend was cool as well. So anywho, first things first, it was weird last week. And thank you guys for listening to the show last week with DVZ. The Aretha Franklin announcement was that she was really, really ill and holding on. And I told DVZ, I said, you know what? We're not going to talk about it because I don't know exactly what to say just yet. Let's see what happens, and then I'll mention it. And then she went ahead and passed away that Thursday. So since then, I have been on an Aretha binge like the rest of the world. Anytime a celebrity passes, especially a musical artist, their music tends to surge on the charts and people are listening and remembering. And I was just going through the crates. I have a few vinyls by Aretha that I've played. I was on YouTube watching old concerts. If you have a moment, there are two things you should watch on YouTube. There's an ABC news special from 1968. It's about 25 minutes, and it just highlights Aretha Franklin. She was 25, 26, and it was just amazing. It's amazing to watch that footage now and just see the difference in people then to now. And it's just 25, 26 then is so different than 25, 26 now. Naturally, it's been so many years, but it's just so crazy just seeing the difference. But it was a great profile of her music, her styling, doing choreography with her sisters and her brother and her dad. It was super great to watch. Another thing that I recommend watching is her Fillmore West concert in 1971. Amazing show. The full show is on YouTube. Gotta watch it, among other music videos of hers. But the thing about Aretha is I love Aretha Franklin, but my aunt who raised me, they kind of favored each other. So there was always this kind of interesting connection between Aretha Franklin and my aunt. It's also weird me saying my aunt. She's my mom. Yeah, but you guys know the whole story with that. But anyway, people will always tell her, especially in her later life when she was much heavier, that she favored Aretha Franklin. And so it caused her to really like, she loved Aretha Franklin too. She had a lot of her vinyl. And just looking at all this old footage and stuff, it reminded me of my mom. So it was definitely an emotional connection. And it kind of course, it makes you kind of grieve all over again for the Lady of Soul, but then also remembering my mom who's no longer with us as well. So I spent like most of the weekend just going through all that footage, listening to old albums, and just, man, Aretha, man, she really, like, you have to understand, Aretha is like one of the first big black artists. Like, you have to really think about that. Like a lot of awards were created for her, like the Lady of Soul Awards for Soul Train, like the best vocal R&B at the Grammys, that was created for Aretha Franklin. In fact, she won it 6 years in a row. Natalie Cole won 1 year, and then Aretha Franklin won again a seventh time. But Aretha Franklin literally created these lanes, you know? And so it's just, wow, a piece of history is no longer here. And it's wild because there's people that you think will never leave here, but you know they will because they are human. And that's a part of getting older and old age. And it's just like, wow. But it's been great watching old footage, watching how funny she was, and how she didn't take no shit. And also, shout out to Patty LaHale of Got to Be Real. Watching the interviews, like the real interviews of Aretha Franklin, Patty LaHale coined her damn near perfectly in the parody show of Got to Be Real. Oh my God. Like, she really does the okays and the going off. And I'm like, oh shit, like this is genius. Like, so good. Absolutely, absolutely, absolutely good. But rest in peace to Aretha Franklin, and positive vibes sent out to her family. The funeral, I believe, is next week, and that's going to be like a 3-day affair. Apparently, there's like a concert, there's a 2-day viewing, and there's um, a private service for just her family that they're not letting public into. But wow, it's crazy, man. Like, life is no joke, and time goes by so fast, and these people that you just think will be here forever, you see that they won't be. And it's just, it's a reminder of that. Especially with celebrities, we have this idea that celebrities are immortal, and in a way they are immortal because their music and their art stays here and they go. But even then, when they die, you're just like, how is this possible? Like, how? And yeah, so I've gotten my Aretha fix over the last um the last almost week now, and it's been very, very nice and reflective, and the memories that are attached to so many songs. And a lot of her career was, when I was born, she was already beyond the peak, you know what I mean? But a lot of her music is connected to my family and my parents because they continue to play the music, so I always connected to them and things like that. So yeah, that's been that. I also saw the VMAs. Um, I am positive that I'm not alone in this, but the VMAs have let me know that I have completely aged out of these shows. Like, there were so many people that I didn't know on that goddamn show. There were so many performances that I felt were mediocre, and I'm like, how are you even an artist? Um, it was a very white show, like very white, very, very, very white. Um, Madonna tributing Aretha Franklin but making it all about her. That was absolute trash. And she looked a fucking culturally appropriated mess. But what's new? It's always Madonna who they pick for tributes, which is really fucking weird, but whatever. Um, Nicki Minaj. Her ass is really, really awkward. And it makes me sad because I'm not against plastic surgery. If I feel like if you have the money and you want to change something about yourself, go for it, as long as your mindset is you're doing it for you. There's a difference from doing it for you and doing it for these niggas. because it's trash, and a lot of it comes from insecurity, and a lot of it comes from this idea that you can't be naturally who you are. And Nicki Minaj's ass, when she got on stage to win the award for best hip hop artist, reminded me of that kind of like, that doesn't even look like it belongs to you, like at all. Like it looks dumb fake. Like it looks dumb stupid. And I just was like, wow. And I'm not like, I feel bad because I'm not about body shaming. I'm not, you know. I like to celebrate women, especially in their natural bodies, for sure. But that ass looks crazy, y'all. Like it looks so crazy. And the outfit pretty much brought it home. And then I started thinking to myself, like, nah, she definitely has some mental stuff going on. I think about what she had to do just to get okay, let me backtrack. Nicki Minaj is talented as fuck. I talk about this all the time. I think she's talented. I like a lot of her music, but I also don't like a lot of it because she sings too much. But I think she flows. I do believe she writes her own music. I do believe her flow is tight. I do think she is a great in her own way, in her own lane. You know what I mean? But I also think about what she had to do just to get to where she is. It's a lot kind of like what K Michelle as well too. It's kind of like you had this talent and you were a pretty girl, but because of media and because of niggas, pretty much, you had to sex yourself up to get this attention to your talent. So seeing this crazy ass on Nicki Minaj made me sad because I'm like, I know you didn't do this for you. Like, I know you didn't. You did this because you knew it would bring attention to you. It will make you sexier in your eyes. It will be sexy to these stupid ass niggas who want these dumb big asses. Like they're not even natural. And it's so weird because there are women out here who have natural big asses who are being dismissed and called fat and called out of shape and all of this stuff. And they're not even accepted. But when you're a celebrity, it's different. And so that's my issue. But Nicki's talented. But she also knew she had to play the game. So she went ahead and got this ass. And I think she got titties too, I believe too. But like, she has this body that looks so wild now because you have to maintain those things. Like, here's the thing. When she first came out, it was a decent size. Mid-career, decent size, but over time you have to do certain maintenance to keep it up, and so it starts to look crazy. And right now we're hitting that stage where it's like, oh shit. And part of me feels for her because I'm like, this ass ain't for you. This was to get attention on you and your talent. And it's not even her fault because it's the time and place we're in. Talent alone doesn't get people's attention anymore. It's not completely her fault. We can't blame her because if it wasn't her, it'd be someone else. There's plenty of fake asses out there, y'all. There's plenty. She's just another product of it, you know? But it was one of those things like, damn, you got this crazy ass body that some people think is like so beautiful and everything. It looks crazy as fuck to me. But it was all just so you can get to this place that you're in now, which, you know, you're at the top of your game. You're being awarded for your music and your art. And yeah, there's that. But I was like, I feel for her though, because I can't imagine this was all her own choosing, you know? But I don't want to go too deep off of that. On the other hand, Nicki Minaj has been really, really pressed lately. She needs to get off of Twitter. She's been going off about record sales. She's going off about being number 2 instead of number 1. And it's just, it's mad crazy for her, but it's like part of me wants to understand her too. I've watched all the interviews that she's done in the last week, like the Crown interview on Tidal. I watched the Flex interview. And I watched a Genius interview as well. And it gave me a little bit more insight to how she's thinking and where she's coming from. And I get it. But even though I get where she's coming from, she still needs to get her ass off of Twitter. She's reached a level of fame where this is just not what she should be doing. Like, it's just not. You cannot be this huge ass star arguing with people on Love and Hip Hop. You just can't do it. Like, you on Twitter talking about hairlines and shit. On top of that, Nikki, how the fuck are you trying to shade somebody for a hairline when your body is not exactly yours? You may have paid it off, but it didn't naturally come from you. So I think it's just really weird how you're pointing fingers at someone for getting a hairline restored, but do I need to fill in the rest of the blanks for you all? Like, it doesn't make any sense. But I really think she has something going on and she needs to talk to somebody and she needs better people around her. I don't want to cancel Nikki. I don't believe in canceling. I hate that we're in this whole cancel culture. It's trash. Y'all got to stop this shit. But I do think Nikki needs to get some help because she's talented, but she needs to siphon this negative energy in another way. Like, because the pettiness is crazy and she's in her 30s and it's just mad wild. You know, her and Cardi shading each other at the VMAs was crazy. Although I did crack up when Cardi said the whole thing about God blessed her with certain things that money can't buy, and she ended it with a nice bitch at the end, and it was perfect. Like, I cackled for a good 10 minutes, but I really wish Nikki the best, and I want Nikki to have better people around her. Like, I really, she needs better people around her because she's talented, and no one's knocking that, but the way she's been behaving lately lets us know that she needs more than a hug. She needs to talk some shit through and figure that shit out. Like, we don't know what it's like to be that rich or that famous and to be at a level where everyone's looking to bring you down. But she definitely should seek help just to talk that shit through because she's having like a meltdown every other day on Twitter and that shit just looks mad crazy and ungrateful. Period. Speaking of cancel culture, I wasn't going to talk about this, but I thought about it recently. So, Lovey J, awesomely Lovey, she was tweeting last week about Aretha Franklin, and she was just asking people who they think should do the tribute. You know, jokingly, black people being black people. And someone mentioned Tevin Campbell. She said, "From under what rock did you get that name from?" That's all she tweeted. Do you know people have been dragging Lovey for days saying she disrespected Tevin Campbell? Like, dragging her, like calling out her heritage, saying she's not really black because she's Nigerian, and saying she's problematic. Like, people were dragging her. But once again, Tevin Campbell, he was trending. She was trending. But I just found it very, very interesting. Like, this is definitely a black people thing. And it's problematic as fuck, y'all. Like, there is a certain point where we are being hypersensitive to shit. Let's keep it a buck. Y'all ain't been fucking with Tevin Campbell for a cool 2 decades. Y'all ain't been fucking with him at all. Y'all ain't been buying no CDs. Y'all ain't been buying no music. Y'all ain't been even tweeting the man. Y'all ain't slid in his DMs. Y'all ain't asked for him to have an unsung. Y'all ain't did none of this shit. Y'all didn't care. When y'all found out the man was gay, y'all discarded him. Come on. But the moment Lovey says, "From what rock did you pull that name under?" you all of a sudden, Tevin Campbell's the greatest singer alive and give him his credit. Okay. Let's back this up. I think Tevin Campbell's amazing. I've been playing his music for the last 20 years still. I always loved Tevin Campbell. I have no gripe against Tevin Campbell. But y'all weren't fucking with Tevin Campbell. Also, what Lovey said wasn't even a diss. What she meant by that is the suggestion was far left. Like, you're naming all these artists who have been around, and all of a sudden you say Tevin Campbell. No one's been mentioning Tevin Campbell. All she said was, "From what rock did you pull that name from under?" Because no one's been mentioning his motherfucking name. She didn't say he couldn't sing. She didn't say he was trash. She didn't say anything. But once again, black people as a whole attacked her. And I mentioned this to my friend Brandon. He was like, "You know what it is, Kevin? A lot of people they don't care that much either. They just want to be a part of the dragging. They think it's so entertaining. And so they just want to be a part of it because, once again, groupthink. And I'm like, that's scary as fuck, man. That shit makes me afraid of being famous or being in the public eye at all. Because how you gonna drag me for something that you could have actually read and understood a lot better? People expanded a thought that she didn't even have. People projected shit onto her that she wasn't even saying. In fact, people were bringing up old gripes they had with her. And it was like, oh, just like when you did this, I never liked you, and you don't need this, and you spend black people's money. It was so stupid, y'all. Like, it was so dumb. And I felt bad for Lovey, even though she seems to be very strong and unmoved. I do also think check on your strong friend. You know what I mean? It's one of those situations, like, she appears to be strong, but it was like, y'all going in on her for the stupidest shit. It's a tweet. And if anything, it's a fucking joke. And on top of that, she never said he wasn't talented or he was trash or anything. She just said it was a far left ass suggestion. And it just, y'all gotta stop with this canceling shit, y'all. Like, it's silly, it's immature as fuck. And what do you gain from it? What do you gain from it? Like, people push so hard for this idea of a black card and protecting this black card, but guess what? No one can strip your motherfucking identity but you. I know people play all the time about who can come to the barbecue and all this shit, but guess what? That shit actually doesn't matter. No one can strip you of your identity but you, and even then you still can't, because if you look black, you're still fucking black. So we got to stop doing this whole thing. We feel like we got to have these imaginary fights with other black people and then try to tell them that they're not allowed to speak on certain things because of the regions they're from. Lovey is just as black as we are in America, okay? In fact, she's probably more black from us because she comes from the place that we fucking originate. We were bought here. So how the fuck are we going to tell somebody that they don't understand our culture? Especially when they grew up here too. Like, get the fuck out of here with that. Like, that shit really drove me crazy because it's like, damn, like, stop hopping on bandwagons of hate. Like, stop doing that shit. It's absolute trash. And it just, I don't know. That shit, it sickens me. It really sickens me. But yeah, so that's pretty much it with like what's been going on with Hot Topics. I want to talk about this a little bit because I just have a few thoughts on it. Someone tagged me, and I guess I should have looked at who it was who tagged me. I believe it was oh my god, I will not forgive myself if I don't actually look it up. Give me 1 second because I do want to give credit where it's due for tagging me in it. So give me 1 second to look this shit up live and in color. You get to hear me looking it up. But I was tagged in this post about it was the LGBT Nation site. And I was tagged in it by Omar Marks, Black Enigma. Thank you so much, Omar, for tagging me in this. It was by LGBTQNation.com. And the title of it says, study shows gay men over the age of 45 are more likely to be single. I was like, well, let me click this shit because something I think about all the time, excuse me, is being a gay man. Being a black gay man at that. I've been thinking about this since I was in high school. I remember being in high school and kind of having a fear about it. I'm like, you know what? I'm probably going to grow up. Who knows if I get married? Who knows if I had kids? Like, who's going to take care of me when I'm sick? Who's going to take care of me when I'm old and in a wheelchair? And am I going to be in a convalescent home? And these are things that you think about, especially as a single black gay man. It's like, who's going to take care of me? You know, who's going to help me out? But this is also why I take care of myself now. This is why I work out. This is why I eat healthy. This is why I do care about my 401k. This is why I do care about having like some kind of savings, and also why I care about living my best fucking life and seeing what I can see, because you just never know what could happen, you know? Anywho, so in the article it says, surveying 1,782 LGBTQ people across the United States, the AARP found that gay men over the age of 45 are more likely to be single. While 57% of gay men over 45 were single, lesbians were only 39% more likely to be without a partner, while bisexual men and women weighed in at 48%. Half of transgender people surveyed were partnered, with 35% of them married. The study itself focused on the challenge faced by LGBTQ people as they age, though much of their concern focused on support networks. 76% of survey participants were worried about having adequate family or social supports that they could rely on as they age. 73% were also concerned about access to LGBTQ specific senior services. Okay, so I'm going to stop there. This is always a thought to me. I always think about, like, when I'm older, who's going to take care of me? Yeah, I have family in LA. I have family. I have a little bit of family here. I have cousins here. But also, I'm 32 fucking years old. Like, I have quite a bit, Lord willing, God willing, universe willing, I have quite a few good years left, if you ask me. And if my biological father is anything to go by at 63 years old and out here still fucking broads, I'm gonna be good for a minute, okay? And my mom, my biological mom, is also still alive. She's like 64, 65, still living her best life. So I have another 30, 40 years to still like thrive and still be on my 2 feet and still live my best life. And then also, we all know life changes all the time, you guys. Like, we're constantly meeting new people. We're constantly cultivating new relationships and new friendships. We're leaving behind old friendships and leaving behind old relationships. And I just don't think someone at my age should be focusing on this right now and letting it be something to fear. Because a lot of people, because of this, settle because of fear. I need to settle down now. I need to be with someone now. I don't want to die alone. Well, you're 23. Like, you settling now is not really insurance that you're not going to die alone, because life happens to us all. Life happens to us all. My aunt, she was so afraid of losing my uncle. She took care of him hand and foot. Like, he ended up getting he had brain disease. She waited on him hand and foot, made sure he was, changed and ate well and got to the doctor. She took care of him. She was so afraid of losing him, only for her to have a heart attack and die before he did. That blew my mind, because I think a lot of times we think about this. We always think about this idea of like, who's going to be here with me? Who's going to be here with me? Who's going to take care of me? But life has its own way of doing its own thing. Not to mention, say you're with someone forever, for years, and then you do get sick and they leave you because they can't take it, or they can't see you in the position you're in. That happens a lot too. People have a hard time seeing people be sick. It hurts them because they're not their lively selves. And it's just not something to fret over. Ultimately, and I don't want to drag this out. I just wanted to be short and concise with this. Ultimately, live the best life you can now. Make the best decisions you know how to make now. Certainly prepare for the future, meaning looking into your benefits, saving money, building your 401k, stocks and bonds, all that good financial shit. Certainly do all of that. Absolutely. Prepare, but don't fret the future. You know what I mean? Don't fret in that way, because life is going to happen the way it's supposed to happen. And dying alone is not, I don't want to say it's not the worst thing, because when people think about dying alone, they think about dying alone as a single person without an intimate partner. But focus on cultivating family. Focus on your family. Focus on your friends. Focus on just making meaningful relationships. And over time, when you get there, then you'll deal with it. But don't allow stats like these, don't allow stories like these and articles to be fearful of your own future, because we all have our own story. We all have our own unique lives. And no statistic is going to change that unless you allow it to. Yes, these are numbers and these are um, percentages and are more than likely, but anything can happen, yo. Anything can happen. They say over the age of 45 are more likely to be single, but guess what? I knew two men who dated in their early 20s, stopped dating, reunited again at 60, and now they're still together and married. Anything can happen, yo. Like anything can fucking happen. And this is not anything that you should be fretting over. Just don't. Live your best life now. Make great decisions. Travel. Enjoy your life. And when you feel it's time for you to settle, settle. And if you don't want to settle, don't settle. But make sure you're taking care of yourself, preserving your health, and not giving up hope. But keep living. Just keep living. Just keep living. Prepare for the future. Don't fret over it. That's all I have to say there. Before I get out of here, I want to also thank you all for listening to the first episode of Holistic Tales. The feedback has been great. Thank you all for listening. I'm glad you enjoy it. In fact, the numbers are they actually topped last week's regular episode. So I'm super excited that you guys were tuned in and checked it out. I'm very pleased that you all are enjoying it. I don't think it's going to be a weekly podcast. I hate to disappoint you. I'm thinking it's going to be a twice a month situation. And that's because the way I'm producing it takes a little bit more time because I want it to be a certain way. So please forgive me. So it'll probably be twice a month as a supplement. But yeah, weekly may be a little bit much at this juncture, but I am certainly glad you guys enjoy it. If you haven't checked it out, go listen to it. You don't have to subscribe anywhere else because if you're subscribed to the Outline Podcast, you'll get Holistic Tales as well. It's just a spinoff. But thank you all to the new listeners and to those of you who have shared and commented and rated. Continue doing so. And just thank you all. Thank you so much. I love that you guys listen to the show every week and provide your feedback, and you all are connecting with me. Like that means so much to me. Yeah, I'm out of here. Thank you so much for listening to the show, and I'll talk to you all next week. Peace out.